Hey, how's it going? This is the Argonaut, and we are here in a little art video. With the new Gundabad campaign coming out, I decided to do a little custom thumbnail, as I've been doing recently, and have a little bespoke piece of art in the thumbnail. So what better to do for the Orcs of Gundabad than draw a Orc of Gundabad. Alright, so as you can see, I've already made some pretty decent headway just getting the body out, the positioning and all that stuff, how I like it. One of the reasons I didn't show you me doing that is because I use myself as reference. A little less orky looking though, of course, but I was posing shirtless with a shovel in my hand. Taking reference photos. So yeah, I'm not gonna put that up. But anyways, so we are making a snow orc, and as you can see on the left hand side of the screen there, I have a bunch of reference set up. A couple, mostly stuff from The Hobbit, and yeah. So we've gotten the base body down, beefed him up a little bit, gave him a nice orky, creepy face with some scars on his head. I don't know, maybe he got clawed by a warg or something. And currently, I'm just kind of winging and designing the armor right now. So, this provided a lot of opportunity to have some fun and just do a cool little painting. Here you can see I'm throwing on the Gundabad logo onto his belt buckle from Third Age Total War Divide and Conquer. Very cool logo, I will say. And yeah, so we kind of got the chest plate here, adding some little frills to it. Gonna add in some dents and stuff, make him look battle hardened. Some tough old orc that's seen a lot. I'm gonna do some armor, but not a crazy amount. I'm just sort of doing. And I like the idea that, yeah, he does wear some armor, but at the same time, he's like, I'm tough enough. I don't need all that fancy, shiny metal protecting my body. Yeah, he's going to smash stuff, and he is fearless. So, yeah, we're just kind of playing around with the armor design right now. I'm not crazy about this. It looks a little too organic, so I'm going to go ahead and change the look of it a little bit. So, yeah, I've done 2 of these sort of speed paint videos a while ago, probably like 2 years ago. I do dabble in art a little bit, as you can probably tell. I did, in fact, go to art school. I have a degree in illustration, which I don't really use that much. But, I still do some freelance from time to time. And, I get to draw stuff for my channel, so that's pretty fun. So I decided to do some kind of banged up, beat up leathers that he's going to be wearing underneath the plate, and then we're also eventually going to throw in some little bit of fur trim, and right now, yeah, I'm just throwing in a bunch of detail, little texture to make it a little more visually interesting than just boring old leather. I really liked how the breastplate and stuff came out. I think it looks pretty dang orky, a little bit of Isengard inspiration, since that's obviously where the Orcs of Gundabad got their inspiration in The Hobbit. I gotta say, I have Bolg up there on the left. You can see his shoulder pad. I can't stand his armor. I think it looks ridiculous. It's some strange, weird, like metal bikini thing, but it's still good reference, especially his creepy face. So, yeah, we just threw in the fur trim there. And then checking the reference still, I really always have reference on hand. And, this piece is going to be viewed at a very small scale. So I'm honestly doing too much detail at this point, but I'm just kind of having fun. I love doing detail and line work. So, yeah, normally if it was going to be viewed larger, I would actually grab some more real world reference. Like I would, look up kind of what breastplates would look like more instead of just off concept art, and same with weaponry and stuff. So speaking of weaponry, right now I am doing that. I did that beat up old haft of the weapon, and then I'm just making some kind of nasty looking halberd type thing, sort of inspired by I believe it's called a bardiche. I don't know if you pronounce it that way, Bardiche, but it's a pretty cool looking actual medieval weapon. So I figured I'd give him something like that, but maybe a little more angular and nasty. I'm warping it in Photoshop right there. Also, obviously, I'm working in Photoshop, if you don't know. Alright, so skipping ahead a little bit, I have combined all 3 layers. I had 3 different layers of line work. So it was the armor, the body, and the weapon, and I combined them all and sort of removed any overlapping lines. And then so now I've blocked in just a big chunk of color here, and I'm gonna be working on the painting aspect, which is pretty fun. You know, I'm not the best painter, but I do what I can. And yeah, here we're just blocking in the colors. This is a technique I use. So basically I'll block in all the major different all the different parts, you know, the armor, the skin, the weapon, the leather, etc. So I'm going to fast forward here, and you can see that I have now done so. And then what I can do is I throw that on a layer below. I can select that, and then I start painting over it. So that way I can, you see those little kind of dancing lines around the perimeter of the face. So I can go ahead and start painting and not worry about getting it on other parts of the orc. So, you know, sort of like masking it off. So here I'm starting to work on the face, which I'm excited about. I always love painting the face, as most people do, I think. So I kind of blocked in some odd colors. You might think it's a bit too colorful, but that's sort of a base layer, and then I'm throwing on stuff on top of it. So usually the face does sort of have some strange colors kind of set further back in. I don't know, I'm not explaining that well, but basically, you know, you have more reds up by your nose and your cheeks, and then especially for men, usually it's blues kind of down towards your chin and stuff, which is sort of like where hair would grow. And you have kind of like you know, it's a little cooler down there as far as the color of your face. So that's kind of what I did there. And yep, working on the scars right now, and hit some bright highlights on the nose and cheek and brow. And here I'm like, you know what? I know they don't have glowing eyes, but we're just gonna do some glowing eyes. Just make them pop a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and work on the arms at this point, and I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit just because it's going to be kind of the same thing as the face. What's nice is after I get the face done, I can just use the colors of the face. You can see I'm kind of picking them and then reusing them down on the other parts of the body. So here I got the veins in there and getting the highlights there. I kind of like how the arm came out. So yep, and then now we're going to go ahead and move on to the leathers. So you know, it's pretty simple. We're just kind of having fun here. I haven't done something like this in a little bit, so let me know if you find this stuff interesting. I mean, I'm not gonna, you know, start focusing on any speed painting videos, but I think I'll probably do them every once in a while if people like it and are interested. And yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. I'm not looking for praise or anything. I know I'm not anything special here, but I do find it enjoyable, and you know, it lets me practice my art a little bit. And, you know, it's a nice change of pace from the rest of the stuff going on, all the Total War. So what I did actually there previously, it was looking a little bit too much, like there was still too much brown leather. So I actually grabbed the belt and then I toned it down quite a bit, desaturated it and made it a little darker. So kind of breaks up the monotony there. And now I'm working on the breastplate. So metal personally is kind of a pain in the butt. Again, I would be using some real world reference if I was concerned about making it look very realistic, but this is just going to be on a thumbnail in this video, so I'm not too worried if it's not totally realistic. Just kind of hitting highlights where it would be kind of bent up towards the sun, you know, and we're layering in those highlights, especially on the dents and stuff is important to get highlights and dents, makes them stand out a little more. Just hitting some nice shadow there too as well, and we're going to do the same thing on the shoulder guard. So I'm going to skip ahead there, same exact process. Here we're actually going to bring up the Gundabad logo and just slap on the red there, you know, just a little nod. I really do love that logo. It's very, very cool looking, very creepy. All right, cool. So we have most of the stuff done here. Here I'm doing a little technique where you know, it's, again, not uber realistic, but adds a little bit, sort of the idea that the armor's reflecting the sky, and we're going to put it on his skin a little bit too, give him sort of a icy sort of glow to him in a way, you know. I don't know, I just think it makes him pop a little more and gives him a little more depth. I love adding some subtle color in there where there normally wouldn't be. So usually I'll do a more in-depth version of that. But now we're hopping on to the haft of the weapon, and eventually we're going to go up to the weapon itself, and we will be done. And then I'm going to slap that in the thumbnail. So, yep, and oh yeah, got to hit the fur too first. Throwing on a darker layer first, and then gonna go over with some bright highlights, little strands hitting the light. And yeah, again, it's pretty simple. It just gets the idea across without having to sit there and make it really look like fur. Well, sort of gets the idea across. I wasn't crazy about how that came out, but hey, that's okay. And now we're gonna hop onto the sort of, well, brightening up the highlights there a little bit. And now we're gonna hop onto the halberd. So again, rotating the canvas. The reason I do that is because I find if I'm doing something that's very much like one direction I'll be painting, I'll rotate it to a direction that I feel more comfortable moving my hand across my drawing tablet, which is more, I'm right-handed, so I like going bottom left to top right. So that's why I kind of rotate it sometimes. That way I can get more really accurate straight lines. I'm actually moving my arm like I'm demonstrating to you guys here that you can't see me. All right, and lastly, we're just gonna throw in some blood, you know, some cheap blood effect. You know, it wasn't crazy with the first pass. Second pass, yeah, sure, we'll just throw that on a little bit. Throw him on his hand a little bit as well, and changing the layer style there. And lastly, I'm like, okay, I need a little bit more reference. So I looked at a Bardiche real quick and decided that I didn't quite like how mine had come out. So we're hitting it with a few more passes of color there and changing the layer style and trying to mimic it a little more. But in the end, it's going to be covered up by some text, so I'm not too worried about it. I would spend more time on it, but it's okay. And here we have our final snow orc, raring and ready to chop some heads off. And there it is in the thumbnail. So let me know what you think, if you enjoyed the video. And also check out the Gundabad campaign. It should be pretty dang fun. And yeah, I will see you in the next episode of either the Gundabad campaign or whatever you check out next. But yeah, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. We'll see you in the next one.